Right now it is 9:04 p.m. and the time right now is August 23rd. So right now, the thing that I had to talk about is basically Assad. The thing that I have to talk about Assad is the fact that Assad has been an adult throughout the entire time. 2001, when the war occurred, Assad was an adult. And right now, recently, what ended up happening was after Assad was told that the only way that he could get me in trouble and get my brain savant freed is by basically telling the courts that I was a criminal at any time in my life, or that I was near someone who was a criminal and that I could have known about a crime. Now, the thing about it is just the fact that the facts and evidences are there from the time the war occurred when I was an 11-year-old child in 2001. There isn't one instance of there ever being any crimes around me. Attempted crimes or conspiracy to commit any crimes where a person would basically say, at least, that I'm going to commit this crime. It could be murder around on this person at this location, and commit the murder or whatever the crime is in this way or shape or form at this location at this time. There's nothing of that sort of nature. Instead, the entire 24/7 that I'm being that I'm being watched by law enforcement, there's absolutely zero evidence of any of that such thing whatsoever. But Assad claims that Assad is fully aware of the fact that, and is absolutely sure that someone around me would have been a criminal or anything of that sort of nature, despite that person never, not once, ever telling me of any crimes that they committed, attempted to commit, or conspired to commit by basically saying that they're going to commit this crime at this location against this person at this time. Nothing of that sort of nature. The reason Assad claimed this could be due to the fact that Assad Assad realized that the only way to lock up my brain savant, due to his extreme envy, is by basically making a lie against me that he was aware that someone around me as a child, adult supervising me, could have been a criminal in any way, shape, or form possible. Now, Assad's envy due to my brain savant is not something that is really a secret, considering the fact that today is August the 23rd, and this I'm going to show you from August 19th, only 4 days ago. 1:02 p.m. It says, "Let's ride together," followed by, in that same set of ads, it has a Coca-Cola ad, basically meaning that Assad is asking law enforcement on August 19th, only 4 days ago, to try to say that, can you please ask Hassan, law enforcement, if Hassan is going to be willing to scam these girls and then pass them over to me. August 19th, the facts and evidences will clearly show and prove this to the courts beyond reasonable doubt that on August 19th, around 1:02 p.m., Assad did ask law enforcement for that from me. Now, so that has to do with my brain savant extreme envy of it and wanting me to go scam other people's daughters and then passing them around to people like Assad. Now, the thing about Assad is the fact that he could be making this point against me that he knew about people that were adult supervising me as being criminals to try to frame me and make sure that my brain savant could not get freed, or since obviously there's no evidence of that person ever saying that they committed or wanted to commit this crime against this person at this location at this time, anything of that sort of nature, nor is there any attempted crimes, or nor is there any crimes itself. So it could be that Assad is doing this, saying that he is aware of someone adult supervising me being a criminal in any sort of way, shape, or form, due to Assad being extremely envious of my brain savant and realizing that he needs to have someone being a criminal in the slightest bit, at least, around me at any time in my life in order to lock up my brain savant due to extreme envy of it, due to which 4 days ago Assad was asking law enforcement to ask me if I was willing to help him scam these girls by sleeping with them and then passing them around to Assad. Let's ride together. And then there's Coca-Cola, which is Assad. Coca-Cola is Assad. So basically, yes, the facts and evidences will clearly prove that. Or it could be that either he's trying to frame me and it's a lie. He didn't think that this person was a criminal, since there's no record of this person ever saying anything according to it, like I want to commit this crime against this person at this location at this time, or that person attempting any crimes or committing any crimes around me, or it could be that that person was a criminal and Assad knew about it. The reason that we would infer that that person could have been a criminal and Assad knew about it is because the wedding crime occurred by someone. And Assad was definitely present in that wedding crime, which means that Assad knew about that wedding crime, the people committing it being a criminal before it occurred as an adult, whereas I never knew about any wedding crimes, didn't know about any criminals. Assad knew about a person being a criminal before the wedding crime occurred. Then Assad was with that person in the wedding crime, committing the wedding crime with that person. He saw it with his eyes, he heard it with his ears. And let's say Assad committed that wedding crime with Uncle Joey. Uncle Joey's mother would talk about the wedding crime after it would occur all day and night long, making it impossible for Assad to not fully hear about everything in the wedding crime, fully see everything in the wedding crime, making it absolutely impossible for that to happen. Now, Assad is going to obviously try to claim negligence and try to blame things on me, make me look like a bad guy. But you have to understand the fact that a child being adult supervised by an adult, after the child's mother has already taken permission from law enforcement for him to be so, and the child is signed up at the PAL Center, where the mother said on August 11th at 7:30 p.m. that she had to sign me up over there to make sure that I could be adult supervised for free by very friendly and nice police officers who would watch children for free as an act of charity. Basically proving with facts and evidence is the fact that it was a required thing for a child only until I gained the size of mental maturity as a child, and that in that time period when it was a required thing as a child, you also have you also a required thing, yeah. So it could be that one of the adults supervising the child, as in me, could have said something considered even remotely considered bad around me as a child, which would not be constituting a crime. By the way, it could be that that adult supervising me could be going on CNN and watching someone dying overseas in some other country. That could be true. Or another website that could have showing people dying overseas in any way, shape, or form possible. As long as that website is not a terrorist website, it is not a crime at all. Not for that person, but it definitely carries blame for that person, and it carries blame for every adult who knew about it. Now, if I'm being adult supervised, can my mother be there? No. If my mother is ever there when I'm being adult supervised, that would mean that I'm lying and that I wasn't being adult supervised. Facts and evidences, on the other hand, will clearly prove that my mother could not have been there if I'm being adult supervised, and she never was. Which clearly proves from facts and evidences not just the PAL Center membership, but also the fact that my mother was never present there, proving from facts and evidences the fact that I was in fact being adult supervised. Now, the thing about it is, it's a big difference with an adult around the child, adult supervising the child, going on CNN and watching someone dying overseas in some war around 2001 when I was an 11-year-old child, adult supervising me in a setting where my mother's not present, or any other website. As long as it's not a terrorist website, watching someone die overseas in any country in the world is definitely blameworthy. It's not a crime, but it's definitely blameworthy. Who does that blame go to? It can't go to the mother. Mother's not present in that setting. Can go to the child. Child is not held liable under the law. Who does it go to? Definitely that person who was doing it, watching it on CNN or any other website where anything, any other website that's not a terrorist website. Yes. And it would also go to the people in law enforcement who knew about it, didn't do anything about it. And then there's a third person going to Assad, who knew about it, didn't do anything about it, didn't report it or do anything about it, as he's confessing in court right now. Now, it would not go to the child or his mother, since the mother had already asked law enforcement when the child was an 11-year-old child, and removed the child when the child became slightly mentally mature, never for that child to be present in any settings where anything even remotely considered bad could be said around him ever again. much less a crime which the child was never present in. I was never present in any crime scenes at all. No crimes, no attempted crimes, no conspiracy to commit any crimes, nothing along the lines of, nothing even along the lines of, I'm going to commit this crime at this location, this time against this person. Nothing of that sort of nature. Now, the child has been taken care of, and we've seen the evidences around the child being adult supervised, mother's not present there, mother's not blamed, the child is not liable under the law, there's no crime that occurred, but the adult supervising the child did in fact go on CNN or any website that was not a terrorist website and might have seen people dying overseas as an adult. That person, adult supervising the child, might have, being a BFF of law enforcement, by the way, like Uncle Joey. That adult, by the way, would definitely carry blame, and the people who knew about it in law enforcement and still chose to run sex games with Uncle Joey's in-laws, providing Uncle Joey with protocol that would envy a sitting governor, would definitely carry blame. And the third person carrying blame would be Assad, because Assad has confessed in court that he also knew about it. He's already confessed. Okay? Then you have another setting. So this setting, there was no crime to begin with. Okay, there was blame. It was huge blame. And it was blame going to the adult who said anything even remotely considered bad, and it was the people in law enforcement who knew about it, didn't do anything about it, and the people like Assad who basically knew about it, didn't do anything about it. But there was no crime. There was blame, but the blame went to three people, not the child or the child's mother, who would never be present there. You got to remember, if the child's mother cannot be present there, because if the child's mother is present there, the child is screwed because the child is lying. The other thing is, if the PAL membership isn't there, which it has to be, then the child's also lying. But it has to be, and the mother already said it under camera without anyone telling her what the right or wrong answer was on August 11th at 7:30 p.m. She's not the kind of person that would lie, and she said, I walked you over to the PAL center, I signed you up there because we really needed it. The free daycare center that the police members ran was incredibly helpful for the children. So yes, the facts and evidence clearly prove that there was no crime committed. There was definitely blame, but the blame went to the adult supervising the child, their BFFs in law enforcement that provided that adult with governor's protocol that would envy a sitting governor, and the blame also went to the third person, which is going to be Assad, since now Assad's confessed in court that he fully knew about it. Now, so then you have another setting. The next setting is going to be the wedding crime. In the wedding crime, you have people like Assad. You could have other people, I don't know, Uncle Joey. Uncle Joey's mother would definitely be there since it's a wedding. Okay, now Assad is going to, in this setting, hear everything that is being said, seeing everything that is being done. Now, you have different kinds of there's no, other than the courts and the government, no one knows exactly what the wedding crime was, except for people obviously present in it, like Assad. The only thing that other people can infer are things that they see other people's facial expressions like. And people's facial expressions tell a story on its own. So what's the story that we're talking about over here? In the year 2023, when law enforcement was trying to frame me for the wedding crime, I saw Kim Jong-un and President Putin meeting. There was a train that traveled, I think, from North Korea to Russia or something like that, and the train carried Kim Jong-un inside the train. Now, Kim Jong-un's facial expressions in 2023, when that train stopped, Kim Jong-un comes out of that train, and his facial expressions tell you everything about the wedding crime. He looks like... And then you look at President Putin, and he goes, yeah, the brain savant kid's definitely dead. Except I saw that on my phone, and I was being under severe mental torture. And I thought, man, I finally got law enforcement for something, because the brain savant kid is not dead. It's law enforcement and their BFFs that are definitely dead. Brain savant kid, every single thing said about the brain savant kid, complete and total lie. How he went to the wedding, what happened at the wedding, what was going on at the wedding, whom he met with at the wedding, what his source of transportation was, who paid for him to go get to the wedding. how he got there, who he went there with, every single thing was a complete total lie and fabrication. Because that kid, the brain savant kid, didn't have any money to go to the wedding. If he's a member of the PAL Center where he's being adult supervised by police officers who are watching children for free because the child's mother can't afford daycare, the closest place the child could go to is the community pool, which means that this wedding, the child's not going to attend for sure. So, yes. But, so I saw their facial expressions and I knew right away, Brain Savant kid's not dead. But law enforcement and their BFFs are definitely dead. Because now I know about a crime they definitely covered over. Since in the entire year of 2023, law enforcement were aggressively, very stubbornly running their money fraud and providing Uncle Joey with governor's protocol that would envy a sitting governor. Literally. I'm not exaggerating in any bit. So now you have the wedding crime. In this wedding crime, you have people like Assad, okay? Assad was going to be present there. Assad's BFFs, like Uncle Joey, is going to be present there. And now Uncle Joey's mother is going to be present there since it's a wedding. Okay, so yes, whoever's wedding it is gonna pay Uncle Joey's mother to go there. So yes, so now what ends up happening is, you now have the person committing the crime along with Assad. Okay, could be Uncle Joey committing it with Assad. They're both committing the crime together before the wedding. Okay, or it could be, yeah, it's definitely going to be before the wedding. Okay, since after the wedding everyone just goes home. So before the wedding, the crime occurs, and Assad commits it with someone, let's say like Uncle Joey. So then the crime is committed, and then Assad sees the crime being committed. He hears about it being committed. He processes it in his mind. Now, the crime hasn't fully been done yet. Everyone sits down, and Uncle Joey's mother is basically the narrator in the crime scene who keeps saying it over and over and over and over and over and over again to make sure that Assad's mind fully understands that it was a crime that Assad had committed. Not just some adult supervising Assad while he's a child and his mother can't afford daycare center due to which he's at the PAL Center. No, not just some adult supervising Assad who goes on CNN or any other website that would not be a terrorist website, not be a crime, but that the adult would see on computer screen someone getting murdered or something like that in a war zone 50 billion years away, 50 billion miles away. No, this is Assad. And in a crime scene right before the wedding, where a crime occurred with Assad and another person, let's say Uncle Joey, and now Uncle Joey's mother would have been the narrator right after the crime occurred. She's continuously saying it over and over and over and over and over again. Assad's hearing it with his ears after he just committed the crime with someone like Uncle Joey. Now Uncle Joey's mother saying it over and over and over and over again. Assad knows exactly what he had committed. He's not some child being adult supervised around him. Uncle Joey would have gone on a website like CNN or any other website that wouldn't be a terrorist website. It would not be a crime where Uncle Joey could have seen someone get murdered half a billion years miles away. No, in this setting, Assad is an adult. He knew what was going on. He knows exactly what is going on. He saw Uncle Joey and Assad himself taking part in the crime. Then after that crime occurs, Uncle Joey's mother explains to Assad like a narrator over and over and over and over and over again exactly the crime that Assad had committed. And Uncle Joey's mother fully lets Assad know that there was a crime that Assad had just committed with Uncle Joey. Now, so basically, yes. So is there any doubt that Assad would not have known? Assad knew 100% that he was in a crime scene and that he had committed a crime. Now, the crime would not be a small crime. We could tell that from Kim Jong-un and President Putin's face, that law enforcement and Assad and people like Sohaib were involved in a very heinous crime. Something along the lines of murder or mass murder, something like that. And Assad and Uncle Joey and Sohaib would have committed it. They fully knew that it was a crime that they had committed. Now, They've committed a crime. They know who the criminal is. And Uncle Joey's mother, who is the narrator in the crime scene, explains to Asad exactly what had just occurred. And Asad is fully knowing about what he had just done. Pretty much along the lines of something like murder or mass murder, looking at Kim Jong-un and President Putin's face from 2023. Thankfully, law enforcement told me about this crime, and I could tell from people's faces what really had happened. Now, the wedding occurs. And in this wedding, Asad has to pick a Asad has to pick a side. He has to pick whom he has to go with. Is he going to go with the people who committed the crime, or is he going to go with the people who committed the crime, or is he going to go with law enforcement? Now, he could go with law enforcement. He saw a crime occur. He knew that these people were criminals. As he said, I knew that these people were criminals from before. He said that in court. Then he committed that crime with those individuals. Now, during the wedding, Asad has a choice to make. Either he could be with the criminals still, or he could go to the police and say, look, I accidentally committed a crime. It was not my fault. And then after the crime, the criminal, Uncle Joey, whom I committed with, his mother explained to me that it was a crime. And now I feel really bad because I didn't want to commit this crime, but I committed it. Did Asad do that? No. Asad didn't do that. Instead, Asad was with his criminal BFFs throughout the entire wedding, walking ahead and behind them after the narrator, Uncle Joey's mother, had already explained to us the fact that he had committed a crime, a heinous crime, something that he cannot walk away with. If he ever gets caught in life, he will be attached to this crime, and Asad now has to pick a side in this wedding. He's either on the side of the police by reporting it, letting them know that it was due to negligence, he didn't mean to do it, and then after the crime, Uncle Joey's mother explained to him what had really happened, and then he realized, oh my God, can't believe I did this, I was a part of this. No, Asad didn't do that. Instead, Asad walked ahead and behind the person whom he committed the crime with throughout the entire wedding, letting that person know that he loved that person, whispering into his ears in that wedding, literally 10 minutes after the crime, telling that person he loved that person, waiting outside the bathroom while that person took a piss, waiting outside the room while that person was literally changing his clothes, going ahead and behind that person, showing him love, and how much Asad really loved the fact that they were both committing crimes together. They were buddies in crime. Very different from Uncle Joey adult supervising a child and Uncle Joey watching something on CNN or any other website where anything even remotely considered bad could have been, where a murder could have occurred in a country halfway across the world on either CNN or any website that's not a considered terrorist website. And that would not be a crime, but that would definitely be blameworthy. Now, Asad has said that he knew about these kinds of things from beforehand. Now, Asad is in a crime scene with his BFF, like Uncle Joey, except this time it's not blameworthy, it's an actual crime, because the wedding crime was an actual crime. Now, Asad commits this wedding crime with his BFF, Uncle Joey, and after he commits this wedding crime, during that wedding, he's given a choice to choose a side. Either you want to be with this criminal BFF of yours, Asad, or do you want to go choose sides with the law enforcement, let them know what has happened, and let them know you didn't mean to do it? Let them know and report everything you could have reported. Did you do this? No, you did not do this, Asad. Instead, you chose sides with the criminals. You became a criminal, and then after committing the crime with them, you became one with them during the wedding, whispering into their ears about how great it was for you to commit this crime with them, waiting outside the bathroom while they took a piss, waiting outside the room while they changed their clothes. You chose to love them, and then you never reported them ever in your life. This isn't a crime. This is a crime committed by an adult named Asad. And the blame from before doesn't go to the child. It also goes to Asad. Just letting you know. This is what I had to let you know.